Hi guys, this is Doug from The Solution, and today I'm going to show you a variation of a hip car in a side lying position. Now I find that this is a nice beginning way to start. Many times you'll see people performing hip cars in a standing variation, and that generally leads to a lot of compensation patterns at the hip, pelvis, knee, different areas. Here, because you're obviously have the ground as a block, you're able to have a much easier time learning the different positions. So, like all hip cars, your goal is to generally utilize all the motions available at the joint. So for the hip, that is flexion, extension, internal rotation, external rotation, as well as abduction and adduction. Now this is one of the few joints like the shoulder that allow us to have 6 motions versus 2, 4 instead. So as I'm in the sideline position, it's important to first note that my pelvis isn't just flat and I'm arching my back here. So I have a little bit of a space on the grounding part, and I create some tension on my bottom leg. Now from there, I want my pelvis to stay neutral. I don't want it rotating back and forth or anteriorly or posteriorly tilting, aka arching or rounding. So now my hand will go here. I'm nice and relaxed. You can always have a pillow at your head. And I'm going to start off with flexion first. So I'm flexing at the hip, not at the low back. Hold. The next motion will be IR with abduction. So I'm doing IR, and then while holding that IR, I'm going into abduction. So I've maxed out my IR and my abduction, and then I'm going to now swing into extension. And now I'm going into adduction and extension. So going towards the floor and backwards. Again, minimal pelvis change, and you'll reverse it. So now I'm going into abduction and external rotation instead of IR. And I'm now trying to flex while externally rotating, and now I drop back into adduction. You perform that clockwise and counterclockwise as you see here. And again, the goal is always to either create space or control over the joint being used.